Hey everybody, this is ESO and welcome to the After Show, found here only on the Monty and the Pharaoh channel, following the Monty and the Pharaoh Show every Thursday night. Monty and the Pharaoh can be seen live every Thursday at 9 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And now they're also streaming live on the Intuitive app. You can download that at in2itive. Okay, I'll put a little blurb up here on that. You can also find them streaming on Spotify, Anchor, Apple Music, and all the streaming services out there. So you gotta check those guys out. And thank you guys for coming. And Mike, Jimmy, thank you for hosting me on your channel. So let's get into today. So how did everybody enjoy this week's SmackDown and Raw and wrestling overall? Well, I didn't get a chance to check out much in AEW, but I know that Tony Khan made a new announcement that there's going to be another hour of wrestling that I'm not sure if people are going to watch. Well, I can't say that because it's now going to be my job. I have to watch AEW a little bit more. I do try and catch it, but overall, generally it's just not that captivating. I get a little frustrated with it, but I do have to give Tony Khan a little bit more time, we'll say. So, SmackDown. What can I say about SmackDown? Well, it was a interview show with a couple of wrestling matches per hour, maybe. They have so much talent on that roster, but so little of it was utilized on Thursday. I couldn't believe it. Some of the things I liked, I think, were Ricochet and Braun Strowman together. That mini-me thing, they look great together. I think they should be a tag team and compete with the Usos for that championship. They definitely have that look. They definitely have that charisma together too. So let's see, what else did I have in there? Oh, LA Knight. Poor LA Knight. The guy seems lost since he lost to Bray Wyatt. I don't know what to do with LA, but this isn't it. We're really losing out on a talent here. The guy's great on the mic. He's great in the ring. Let's figure out what to do with him and push him stronger, because I really don't want to see him keep jobbing the way he is. Also, while we're on the subject of Bray Wyatt, the Firefly Funhouse. I'm sorry, guys. I just don't understand. It seems like a lot of people are enjoying this Bray thing. I'm not one of them. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. And the thing with Lashley on Monday, that made absolutely zero sense. A dancing Bray. Well, I'll get into that later on, but this just isn't my cup of tea. I guess it's for the younger viewers, but not for me. Then you get into the bloodline angle, them pushing it that little bit further with Jay and Jimmy and Sammy, and then Kevin Owens coming out. Well, it was good. It was enjoyable. But overall, I think SmackDown wasted a lot of time with segments and talking where we could have had a little bit more wrestling going on and maybe showing off a little bit of more of the talent that is on that roster. I know it's only a 2-hour show where Raw's a 3-hour show, but it just seems it seems like it's missing something there. Maybe move some of the segments and the interviews to like the WWE Network exclusive, or maybe to the YouTube channel, put them out on TikToks, and then force people over to those avenues and revenue streams too, and maybe put a little bit more wrestling, a little bit more talent on the actual on-air product. I don't know. That's just the way I feel. But how do you think Raw did overall in comparison? I mean, I'm not going to say SmackDown was a bad show. It was a good show. It was well written. I did enjoy it overall. I just was a little. I felt like they could have done more with the talent and maybe push some things along a little quicker. Let's see Raw. They opened up with the Street Profits and the Usos. Well, a little bit variation of the Usos, but the Usos. Overall, awesome match. Those guys always put on an awesome match. We've seen it a million times, but you know what? I still enjoy it when those guys wrestle. And Solo was a nice, alternate to Jay. Next thing I really noticed was Gable. I mean, Gable's like the LA Knight of Raw. I mean, he's kind of lost. He's losing it. He's constantly jobbing. He's losing steam. I really think we're losing a great talent that's great on the mic. I know he's going to end up getting repackaged or pushed in a different way, but once he and Otis break up. But overall, I don't know what to do with Gable. But jobbing him out like this, I don't think is the way to go. Don't get me wrong. He should lose to Cody. He absolutely should lose to Cody. My gripe is him losing every week to somebody. And what did you think of that Cody and Otis conversation outside of the ring when they were looking for the woman? I thought that was absolutely hilarious. Cody is great. Otis is really growing on me, and I can't wait to see what he does with the Maximum Male models there when he gets over there. It's coming. It should be a fun part of WrestleMania. See, I enjoy that. I know it's silly and campy stuff like that, but I can't get that Bray Wyatt supernatural stuff. I don't know. It's just me. So next thing got going on. I'm very disappointed that we're going to put Finn Balor in with Edge for WrestleMania. I've talked about Edge before and how I feel about him. I was hoping last week's beatdown was enough to get rid of him for a while, but no, we're going to deal with him up until WrestleMania, then probably disappear and come back a couple months later. I'm done with the Edge comebacks. I'm just done with Edge. I think there's a lot of younger stars on the roster, and if he's going to give somebody a rub, that's great, but Finn doesn't need a rub. Finn's been world champion. What's the point of putting Finn in with Edge for Finn to go over? That whatever. I'm done with that. Asuka's awesome. Love her. She had a great match. Then we had all right, here's another thing that just doesn't make sense to me. Last week we had Michin against Piper, and Piper destroyed Michin, which I did not understand at that point. And I said, why did you have Michin, a badass, get destroyed by Piper? And now this week we had Candice LeRae go over Piper. Candice LeRae, I don't get it. I nothing against Candice LeRae, but I don't think she's in the same caliber as Michin. So why would you have this women's division? Just makes no sense. Somebody please explain it to me. I'm open for an argument on it. Please. So Bobby Lashley. This is probably the worst part of the night for me. So is Bray Wyatt a comedy act, or is he a spooky act, or is he a supernatural act? What was that crap? Can somebody explain it to me? I mean, it was an awesome edited video. Yay. Just didn't make any sense whatsoever. The dancing Bobby Lashley there, whatever, and the dancing Bray Wyatt, the Muscle Man dance, or whatever it was called. I don't understand. It was just whatever. So then we had Johnny Who against Otis. Yeah, Johnny Gargano there. I don't know what his place is yet. He's good on the mic. I really don't like him in the ring. His size really gets exposed quickly. he's serviceable. He's a phenomenal wrestler, but I think he's my size. I mean, he's under 6 foot, and if he's over 200 pounds, I would be surprised. So, let's see. What else did I have from Raw? Oh, the women's title match. Okay. Just like I was not happy with Edge, I'm not happy with Lita. What's the point of putting a title on Lita at this point? There's so many talented women out there in this division. Why would we have Lita as a tag team champion at this point? If you notice, she really didn't wrestle much in that match. She came in the last minute. Her moves were way off. She really... Thank you, Lita, for being a pioneer in the women's division. But when it comes to current modern wrestling, I think these girls outclass you as a wrestler. Go back to the Legends room, or just come in and give some rubs to some of the younger talent, or maybe manage some of them. I could see you doing that, but your days in the ring are over, unfortunately. Thank you for an awesome career, Lita, but please don't do this. You're not of the same caliber as the women you were in the ring with this past week. And now you're a world champion. Wow. Well, we know that championship's going to change hands at WrestleMania, don't we? So anything else? Let's see. The only other big thing I wanted to touch on this week was Jake Roberts' biography. Wow. That was some awesome show. I had it. I bartend on Sunday nights, and I had it on one of the bar TVs. I had so many customers that aren't fans of the modern product enthralled in that biography. Actually, next week I plan on coming back and watching the China one at the bar. So they definitely did something right, because my customers definitely enjoyed it. So hang on one second, guys. I'm gonna run. I got a couple of quick things to do, and we will be right back.
When it comes crashing down and it hurts inside, you gotta take a stand. It don't hurt to hide. If you hurt my friends, then you hurt my pride. I gotta be a man. I can't let slide. I am the real American.
And welcome back to the After Show, found here only on the Monty and the Pharaoh channel. I was going through some of my boxes of stuff, and I found some old wrestling magazines, and I realized that I have some from 35 years ago. Check this out. So this was 35 years ago, March, WWF magazine. So I figured that we could go through a couple things that I found and I laughed at. It's definitely fun. So this is 35 years ago. One of the first things I remember from when I was a kid was the ice cream bars. So they had the ad for the ice cream bars. Really brought back some memories. I don't know if they make them. If they do, go out and grab them. They were awesome. If they don't, they definitely should bring them back. That was a treat from when I was a kid that I definitely miss. So first thing I wanted to do is start talking. They have an article on some of the... You have to realize this magazine came out before wrestling was known to be scripted. At this point, they wanted you to believe wrestling was real. This is before the steroid trials. This is the golden age of wrestling. So they were asking people's toughest opponents. Gorilla Monsoon said Bruno Sammartino. One Man Gang, what do you mean my toughest opponent? Junkyard Dog said Randy Savage. Randy Savage said Ricky Steamboat. Bam Bam Bigelow, he said, well, everybody in the Royal Rumble. And Jake Roberts said Ricky Steamboat. So you had 2 for Savage and 2 for Steamboat. That's pretty cool. One of the other cool things I laughed at was the back in the day, you used to be able to buy these tapes or CDs for 10 for $1, and then they rope you into buying things over and over and over again. So there's a really funny interview with the Honky Tonk Man, the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion, the Honky Tonk Man. Great article. It's so funny reading these things and how serious they were about their characters at this point. Oh, they also talk about the Survivor Series from 1987. Wow, that was probably one of the worst Survivor Series, if I remember correctly. Oh, wow. Oh, they also talk about Pile Driver, the album, and it actually charting. Well, Coco Beware singing Pile Driver. If you go to one of the episodes I did with Jimmy Farrow, Jimmy sings Pile Driver. And I actually think if you go back even farther, he sang it live with Coco Beware at some point. If we can find that, that would be awesome. I'd love to find a link for that. That was funny. Well, what else did we have here? Oh, they talk about the debut of the Ultimate Warrior. Whoa. If you could read this article and what Ultimate Warrior actually turned out to be, oh my gosh, it is hilarious. They describe this guy as an Adonis, a god who doesn't say many words. I don't think Ultimate Warrior ended up being known for not saying many words. Well, when he came into the WWF, that was the expectation. He was going to be this quiet, crazy guy. They talk about one of his first matches with Steve Lombardi, and wow, this is pretty nostalgic. I could have a lot of fun, and there's a lot we could talk about on these. One of the other favorites of all kids when we back in the day was when you opened it up and you opened up to the merchandise catalog and you went to the center and you got to see what wrestlers' shirts were available at any given time. Check that out. The classic Macho Man. How many of us have had that shirt? How many of us have had that shirt as an adult? Yes, I had it as a kid, and I went back and bought it again as an adult. Hey, I'm a Macho Man fan. I think a lot of us are. Let's see, what else cool stuff did we have? Oh, they get into the Slammy Awards of the year. Check out some of these. So we had Best Performance by an Animal. They had George the Animal Steel winning it over Frankie the Bird and Jake the Snake's Python. Let's see. Best Group, One Man Gang. Let's see. Best Song from the Pile Driver album. We'll never know because Sika came on stage and ate the results. Oh, what a funny time in wrestling. Then this is one of the other reasons I wanted to bring up this magazine. All that other fun stuff, I got distracted on my main purpose of this one, which was the purpose of this cover. This was when Andre the Giant sold the World Wrestling Federation title to the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase. That's covered in this issue. That's what the big thing is, called Giant Atrocity. That was awesome. So one of the last things I want to touch on in here, and then we'll get going and come back and talk about the finale of why I think the Poughkeepsie Civic Center is a mecca, and that's the Attitude Era and how it was part of the beginnings of it and helped usher it in, just like it helped usher in the golden age of wrestling. So this was Caught in the Act. It's the last page of the WWE magazine. And back in the day, one of my favorite tag teams was the Islanders. So it was Haku and Tama, the Islanders. They were awesome, and they were managed by Bobby the Brain Heenan when they turned heel. And at one point, they had kidnapped the Matilda, the British Bulldog's dog, and they actually there's a picture of them, and I'll put it up now, of them holding a leash with a collar hanging there and pretending to pet an invisible dog that was Matilda. And they were saying, "What do you mean Matilda's missing? She's right here. What are you talking about?" It was, some of the stuff back then was absolutely, I don't think if Bobby the Brain Heenan weren't involved, it would have gotten over as much. Man, I miss that guy. He was brilliant. So let's take a quick break. I will be right back with the Mecca, the Attitude Era, Poughkeepsie, New York. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the After Show, found here only on the Monty and the Pharaoh channel. Over the last month or so, I've talked a lot about the Mid-Hudson Civic Center in Poughkeepsie, New York, and how I think it's a mecca, even though it's a little 2,500 seat arena. I've had a little bit of kickback on that. That's why I did this. I think I've done a pretty good job talking about the 70s era, and then last week talking about the Golden Age and how that little arena was a part of the Golden Age of wrestling, and how it went from leading WrestleMania was doing the TV tapings during WrestleMania 1 to up until mid 1986 when it started to really boom before WrestleMania 3. That arena was such a big part of it. So the next era I wanted to talk about was the Attitude Era. The Attitude Era, so if we went to the Civic Center and then that led into the Golden Age, guess what? After the steroid trials and stuff like that, WWF went back to playing in small arenas like the Mid-Hudson Civic Center, and it hosted lots of the original Raws. Raw was pre-recorded for quite a number of years before they were kind of forced to go live. They kind of forced their hands a little bit. So, but let's talk about some of the names that went through this arena during the mid-90s. So we had Razor Ramon, hey yo. So Typhoon, Bob Backlund, Steve Austin, Papa Shango, the Nasty Boys, the Head Shrinkers, Bret Hart, Jeff Jarrett, Lex Luger, Bob Holly. I think he was probably Sparky Plug back at that point. We had British Bulldog, Yokozuna, Diesel, Bam Bam Bigelow. What was it? We had the Smoking Guns, Adam Bomb, Marty Jannetty, Rick Martel, The Undertaker, Erwin R. Shyster, and one of the biggest things that happened there in that era was the finals of the Women's World Heavyweight Championship. And you know who got that title at the Civic Center? Alundra Blaze. We all know what she ended up doing with that title. It's in some trash, went through some trash compactor somewhere. It's in a dump somewhere. And yeah, that happened there. She defeated in December, let's see, I have a date written down here. December 12th, or December 13th, 1993, Alundra Blaze won the Women's World Heavyweight title against Heidi Lee Morgan. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So, let's see. That was, overall, it hosted Raw tapings over 12 times. The amount of Raws that it was part of was somewhere in the range of 30, 35, because a lot of times they would do several TV tapings at one point. So, pretty cool. My opinion, that arena is a mecca. That's the last I'm going to talk about it unless somebody asks me some other specific questions. I have some other arenas I want to talk about on a future episode, but that's about all I have on that for now. Thank you guys for listening for that. And thank you for listening to me and stopping by. Again, thank you, Monty and Mike Monty, Jimmy Farrow, for hosting me on your network. And until next week, this is ESO. And in honor of Jimmy Farrow, later.
About right and wrong, and I've taken trouble for very long. I've got something deep inside of me, conscious something that keeps us free. I am the real American, fight for the rights of every man. am the real American. Fight for what's right.